everybody. I am Chef Julia Dunaway, and I'm here again doing another demo. Hello, sorry about that. I had to connect my sound. Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. Good evening. All right, is the sound back on? Okay, can you hear me now? I had to reboot my sound. It should be working now. Someone tell me it's working. No sound, huh? Let me try. Let me check it. It says it's working. AirPods working. Okay, sound is good. All right, yeah, it was off for a minute and then I had to get it back on. So yes, the sound is on. I thought it was. It wasn't for a minute though. I've had a little couple of technical glitches tonight. I had to go back and reboot my phone. Okay, missed the prior live, watch the replay. Sound is good. Thank you, Barbara. Hello, Marcia. And also, before I forget, Carol's here. Let me get this link up here because I want you to be sure and get your bundle before it runs out. Okay, I'm getting some things prepared, but let's get the main thing in the Pistachio Energy Ball are pistachios. So I have I have a bag of pistachios. I ordered these from Amazon because the local grocery store where I usually get the pistachios was out. So I got a bag of nuts from Amazon and they were good. I guess I could add them to my Amazon store. I didn't even think of doing that. I'll do that after this is over. I have to write it down so I don't forget. Greetings to Bettina, Nico, Lynn, Barbara. Hey, everybody. And pistachios. Okay, I'll do that. So I have about a cup and a little bit over a cup and a half of pistachios. And I'm going to take about half a cup and I'm going to put it on my cutting board and cut it. And this is going to be the coating. It looks like Janet from Powered Peddler is on, and she likes raw stuff. So this is good. Barbara's from New Jersey, finally catching alive. Been loving these shows. I ordered the bundle from you. Thank you. Jill, Carol, Sam. And Janet, you don't have to toast the pistachios because obviously you eat raw, so you don't cook stuff. But I did put these in the oven for 6 minutes at 375, and I did that earlier because that would have been boring to stand here while we were toasting the pistachios. So they taste, it's supposed to taste better when they're slightly toasted. They're raw, they come raw. So these are raw, no shell raw pistachios. And then I toast them for 6 minutes at 375. But you don't have to do that, but I do think it makes them taste better. So it's just up to you. Some people say don't toast nuts because it's not good for them. And other people say, toast them, it doesn't matter. So just do whatever you do and it should be fine. All right, so I'm going to toast these chop these pistachios, and these are going into a little container. And what we'll do with these is when we're done with the Pistachio Energy Balls, then we're going to roll them in these chopped pistachios. So, yes, Janet, they are raw. The ones that I buy in the package are raw. And I just toasted them because I wanted to, but you can get them raw wherever you get them. And you're just basically going to be putting them in a food processor and turning them into almost like a pistachio butter. Well, I've been busy doing all these cooking demos. I made cream cheese and jalapeno dip. I made some noodle salad, which I had for lunch. And then I was trying to think. I was thinking, I'm not hungry at all. I was telling my husband, I said, do you want something for dinner? And he's like, no, I had a big lunch. And I said, well, I have soup, chili. I've got the zucchini soup. I have chili. I have dip. I have Korean noodle salad. I have all this food here in my house. And I was thinking, after I get done with this demo, I said, do I really want dinner tonight? I was thinking, I don't really want anything. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get hungry at some point. I better not eat any of these pistachio energy balls because they're very filling. I'll have to wait and eat one tomorrow. So I'm going to make some of my mung bean crepes tomorrow morning too, along with the grits. So I will make those and you can watch me make them. And I'm going to try to make them two different ways. I'm going to make some in a skillet. I'm going to make some in a non-stick pan, a special, like a egg pan. Let's see, Diana said I caught the replay of the cream cheese dip. It looked delicious. It was really good. Rather than chop them small, could we pulse them in the food processor? You could, yeah, just don't. The thing with the food processor is it tends to get away from you and turns them into ground pistachios. And for the appearance factor, we don't want them to be ground. That's why I'm doing them by hand. We want them to be pieces. And there's a tendency, they're nice little kind of chopped pieces. They're not ground up. And they look better that way. When they get too fine, they don't really coat the energy balls all that well. So I prefer them like this, but do them however you want. This will make a nicer coating. Trust me on that. Okay, so I need to get my food processor over there. But yeah, to save time, definitely, you could just go ahead and throw them in the food processor. Sometimes I just make things a little bit more complicated than they need to be. So we'll get the Big Daddy Vitamix food processor. I did put that in the Amazon store. It's kind of expensive, but I bought a new Vitamix blender that you could add the food processor to it. So then I bought the food processor, and it's really powerful. So it's actually really good, especially for things that are time consuming. Okay, so this is kind of time consuming. We have to process all of these. Oh, I did in my recipe, it says to spread the nuts, transfer to a food processor and pulse until finely chopped, remove 1/3 cup and set aside and continue processing. So yeah, I guess I told you a different way in my recipe. I should have followed my own recipe. What time is the demo for breakfast? I have it starting at 10:30 tomorrow morning. I'm going to give myself a little extra time because this morning it was so hectic. I did the 9 o'clock video and then I did an 11 o'clock video and it was just too hectic. And I thought, I don't want to do that tomorrow. I'm just going to add on to my grits and oat sausage and greens breakfast. I'm going to add on the mung bean omelet because so many people are interested in that. Terry says your veggie loaf sounds delicious. Thank you. Dehydrated sprouted mung bean crepes. Yes, the mung beans are not cooked, Janet. They are, I know you can't see this because you're listening, you're not watching, but the mung beans, I'm soaking them. You soak them for overnight. The mung beans are just soaked in water. They're split yellow mung beans and they're organic, and you soak them in water overnight. And then all I'm going to do is blend them in a blender with some cashew milk and black salt and some different spices. And then they turn into the most delicious crepes. They make crepes that they're not really omelets, they're crepes, but everyone calls them omelets. But they have a very nice kind of a chewy texture and they taste kind of like eggs that kind of look like an omelet. And you can put them in an English muffin or just eat them by hand and they're so good. Georgia says she's happy to be here. Oh, she is watching. Okay, so you saw the mung bean and they're split yellow mung beans and they're organic and I've got them. They're all over Amazon, but I'll put them in my store so that you can see them tomorrow morning. And some people by mistake get green mung beans and then they're not the same. These are yellow, they're split. Okay, so I'm going to put the lid on. We'll talk about that tomorrow morning. And then I'm going to put this on. Ooh, that's kind of wet. Let me dry this off. I washed this after the last one. So what's going to happen is, and Kim says they're so good. She's made them. And Debbie Knight, who's been watching a lot, she made some, and she said that they didn't stick to her skillet at all. She didn't have to use any kind of oil or anything. Sometimes I have to kind of oil my skillet slightly and then wipe it off. Otherwise, it'll stick. So I've done that. But I don't, there's no oil in the actual pan. It's just like I wipe it all off, but it just seems to help. But I've got a new pan that should be completely free of any kind of sticking. So I'm going to try that tomorrow. We'll see how that works. I'm going to turn this around so that that's on the back. It's easier for me to manage and get this sealed tight. That's the thing about these Vitamix food processors. Once they seal tight. Do they reheat fine? Yes, they reheat great. What you do is you put them in little separate, you can like separate them or you can put them all in one container, whatever you want, glass. I use like a Ziploc bag. And then you take them out, wrap them in a paper towel, and put them, oh, they're split so they don't sprout. Yep, they probably don't. Tammy with Nutmeg Notebook made them too. Yeah, I saw that she did. Anyway, yeah, they probably don't sprout if they're split. So mine always stick no matter what I do, Diana says. But I think this new pan might be good. So we'll try it. We'll see what you think. Okay, this is going to take a few minutes. So I know that you might want to mute your sound, mute your speaker. Can you scramble them instead of making crepes? It doesn't really turn out that well scrambled. Like you can take just egg and scramble it and it works okay, but my version of it, it doesn't really scramble well. Okay, so everybody mute your speakers for a while because this is going to take maybe 5 minutes. We'll see. I can mute mine. And at some point, you have to scrape down the sides. I don't know if that cream cheese spread is going to freeze or not. I asked Shada, but she must have left the video because she didn't answer. But in my experience, the cream cheese stuff that I've made with cashews, that does freeze really well. But with the tofu and cashews and other stuff, I'm not sure. So right now, all I have are finely ground pistachios that are powdery. So it will it will turn into like a butter. So just give it a little bit more time. Okay. Okay, here is my. And then just like that, it didn't take 10 minutes because this is the powerful food processor. Okay, I went through the bundle last night and watched Kathy Hester make the pizza crust and cheeses. Looks interesting. I'll have to give it a try. Yeah, I saw her do a couple of live streams where she was talking about her pizza, and it sounded pretty good, especially for people who can't have gluten. Now I can't find my spatula. Oh well, it's around somewhere. Yeah, it was really nice that she has options for people that don't use gluten because she doesn't use gluten. Uh, is is that the texture? Yeah, you want it to be smooth, kind of like nut butter, because we're going to add some other stuff to it. And look, it doesn't make that much, does it? Look, after all that, we don't have a lot, and it's expensive, to use pistachios, but that's what you get. And then we're going to add some other stuff to it, but it does not make a ton. So the consistency is supposed to be creamy, like nut butter. That's why nut butter is expensive. Have you noticed that the gourmet, like the almond butter, is really, really expensive? It's because look how little you get for so much. That was like half of that $20 bag of pistachios. I'm trying to get every little bit out of my blender too, out of my food processor, so I don't waste any. Get it all off the scraper. So you see, that's it. And that's why we're going to make small quantities of it. We're not going to make huge balls of it. All right, so we got that out. Got most of it out too. You can double this. I bet you could make veggie breakfast burritos with the mung bean crepes. Yes, yes. They make really good egg sandwiches. I shouldn't call them egg sandwiches, but they make really good muffins or two pieces of thin Dave's bread with a mung bean crepe and one of my breakfast sausages, the oat and rice sausages. So, like, if we're going on a trip or something, and I'm kind of thinking, excuse me, that I want some kind of special on the go breakfast, I'll get that. And it's so good. It's like it's an indulgent kind of a thing. It's not something I would do often. So, this is I need one more, about a third a cup of pitted dates. Is this your recipe? Yes, this is my recipe. So, this is in my cookbook, Plant-Based Cookies, and it is on page 26. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to scrape the mixture into the bowl, add the oats, dates, coconut, and date syrup. You can mix it with a spoon. Okay, so we're going to add some oats, a third cup of rolled oats. I'm going to get that from over here. So that kind of beefs it up a little bit and adds a little bit more bulk to it. Otherwise, you have just those little bit of pistachios. It's not much. And then we're going to add some coconut. Let's see, it was a fourth of a cup of coconut. And some people don't like coconut, so I guess if you don't like coconut, you can leave it out. The egg sandwiches are our staple travel breakfast, so delicious. So see, there you go. Terry's doing it. I'm going to mix it up a little bit, but I'm going to add the date syrup and the dates. So we're going to add a third of a cup of dates and a fourth of a cup of date syrup. So see how it's kind of adding a lot more to it than what we originally had. So let me chop up these dates while we're talking. You can see my tripod. That's not very good, is it? Okay, so everybody, uh, Terry says I need to download that one, the cookie one. Yeah, that's a good one. The cookie one has a lot of practical everyday cookie recipes, oatmeal cookies, and I call them holiday oatmeal cookies, but you can really make them any time of the year. They just seem like they're extra good. They're a little richer than some of my other cookies in that book, so people always like those. There's Italian fig cookies, triple chocolate cookies, carrot cake cookies, just a lot of different cookies. Let's see, anybody else? I like my Vitamix food processor. That was a lot faster than my other one would have been. My other little Cuisinart processor, that takes a long time to get that to turn into nut butter. And you saw that was quick. That went from nuts to nut butter. Kim says the breakfast sandwiches are fun to take camping too. Yeah, it's kind of like the things that you don't have when you go plant-based and you think you'll never have again. Like a breakfast sandwich. There's just something about that um, just tastes good to have that egg like crepe and the oat sausage and a nice whatever couple pieces of bread, and that's way more grains than I usually eat at one time. But like I said, I only do it if we're traveling, going somewhere, and it's like an on the go kind of a treat. And I keep those things in my freezer all the time. So I put those dates in, and I'm going to put the date syrup in. And then I'm going to get in here with my hands because these dates tend to kind of clump up. And I don't want to use a blender or a mixer. It's not necessary. You just kind of have to spread everything out. But yeah, so I keep the egg omelet crepe type things in my freezer at all times. And then I also keep the oat sausages too. I keep those handy. Let's see, a fourth of a cup, so that I always have those. I know my Vitamix blender food processor is my prized kitchen gadget, Diana says. Okay, Madonna says, I like to add a fourth cup of your red chili tofu chorizo to the center of the mung beans. Fold it up with banana pepper rings and eat between Ezekiel bread. Oh my goodness. That sounds like a good recipe. I'm going to have to remember that. I have the tofu chorizo. It's on YouTube under my nachos recipe. Chef Julie, I've been watching your videos for years. I always look forward to new videos. Great. I'm glad you've been watching me for years. It's a long time. Okay, so see, I'm putting the date syrup in here now. Yeah, I haven't done any new videos in a long time. This is like my record of doing 8 days, 2 videos. I've done 15 videos in the past 8 days. That's a lot. No wonder I'm kind of tired. Not too tired, but a little tired. Okay, so now this is getting a lot more volume to it. Remember I don't think I'm going to use my hands because it's too sticky. Remember when I first started doing it, how it looked like this little tiny little green ball. There was not much to it. Then I added the oats and I added the coconut and then I added the dates and then the date syrup. And now look at how big it is. How do you store the omelets in the freezer? Okay, what I do, and you might not like this, you could do that. You could like lay them between sheets of parchment paper. That would probably be good. I put them in sandwich bags, basically, individually. And then I put all the sandwich bags in one big Ziploc bag. And then when I get it out of the freezer, I just get one bag out take it out of the bag, and then I wrap it in a paper towel and put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds. And I kind of, turn it over and flip it over, and then I put it back in for another maybe 20 seconds until it's defrosted but not rubbery or anything. You can't overdo it in the microwave. You don't want to. Okay, so what I've done is I've mixed this really well with a spoon to get it all kind of mixed well. And I'll show you with my top-down camera what it looks like so you can see a little bit better. You can see the texture of it. It's kind of like cookie dough. It's sticky and it will hold together, but it's very dense, and that's what you want. It should be the nut butter, and then once you mix everything, then it kind of looks like cookie dough. Okay, let's see. Don't stop sharing your videos with us. I love being in the kitchen with you, learning a lot and eating better. Well, that's nice to hear. I'll put my link up here again for those of you who came in late. Well, I appreciate that because, I needed a reason to start getting back into the kitchen. And the bundle, I knew it was coming up. And truthfully, I was dreading it because I was thinking, oh my goodness, I haven't done any videos in so long. I haven't done any kind of live videos. I really haven't done anything other than, I did Chef AJ's, what was it called? The ultimate weight loss or some kind of thing. Because she asked me to do that a long time ago. And so I did that. And I was really like nervous about doing that because I hadn't done anything in so long. So I did her show. And then that's really about all. Okay, so I got a tablespoon, and then I formed it into a ball. I rolled it in my hand. And then I'm just going to put it in here while it's still wet, because if you let it sit out, it's going to dry out. And then you kind of press the pistachios on it. It doesn't need to be completely covered, but you want to have a few on there so it looks kind of cool. That makes it look good to have a few pistachios on there. Do you do collaborations every year? We do bundles every year. Is that what you mean, Diana? Chef AJ does a bundle every year about this time. This is my third one, and I'll probably do it again because, it's just something I do every year, and it's kind of fun. I've met other people that do the bundle, and then it kind of helps people get to know me. Yeah, I already answered. So in that sense, they're good because there are a lot of people in the plant-based space that don't know me, and that's a good way for people to get to know me. There's a conference coming up, and it's called the Plant Powered Party in Las Vegas in August. And I'm going to be posting about that, and I'm even going to have a code. So if you go to that, I might get a little credit for that. How much jackfruit do you use for the barbecue sliders? I think I used 2 cans. They're kind of like 14-ounce cans. It's probably 2 cans of jackfruit. Sorry about that. That was one of my early recipes. Saw your interview with Chef AJ on the ultimate weight loss. I've lost over 60 pounds in 12 months because of watching the 2023 weight loss summit. That's great, Carol. Yeah, she asked me to do that, and I said, okay. And I cooked a lot of stuff on there. I really cooked a lot of stuff on that weight loss summit because it was all about, what have you done to keep your weight off? So here's they look nice. They've got kind of chunky pieces of pistachios on them. And they're so green. If you can see them, they look cool because they're very green. And that's from the pistachios. So if you make these with walnuts, they don't have the same color. They don't look as cool. They just kind of look brown. So they look a lot better with the pistachios. And I'm squeezing the ball together to make it even denser. And then I roll it with my hand. Which one has the cookie bottom that you made? It's a chocolate peanut butter bars. That's got the cookie bottom. My husband's eaten those. He's eaten all of those, I think. I don't think there's any left. He loves those. So yeah, if you're interested in the uh, plant powered party, and it's one of those things. I'm not one of the speakers, but a lot of the speakers that are going are people that everybody likes, and maybe one day I'll be a speaker at one of those because I've never been on the weight loss summit either. So that would be kind of cool. So we'll see. I'm kind of getting to know Chef AJ better, so she's involved in a lot of that kind of stuff. So maybe she'll mention my name. But I told some of my friends about the plant powered party, some people that have been to my retreats or people that I communicate with on a regular basis, and they immediately signed up. So I already know for sure 4 people signed up and they're going. And that's one, and there's one more person who might go. So it's already like, oh man, that's going to be fun. I'll see some people that I know and I can hang out with and eat dinner with, because it's going to those things and not knowing people is not that much fun. I did go to a National Health Association conference a couple years ago, and I got one of my friends. She's a friend now, but she was somebody who came out and took a cooking seminar here at my house, and we became friends. And she showed up there too, and we had such a good time. It was great to have somebody to hang out with and not just be there alone. So I go to things sometimes. After COVID, we kind of quit going to in-person conferences. And now we can go. I've never really been to one other than the National Health Association. Okay, so I'm on number 8. I don't know how many this makes. I think it makes maybe 15 or something. So we'll just keep making them. If you have any questions, let me know. And they taste good after you've chilled them for about 30 minutes. The flavors start to combine. And I noticed when I made them before, when you first make them, they don't really have that much taste. And so you think, well, they're not that good. And then the next day, it's like, oh my goodness, they have so much more flavor. Okay, so here we go. And, they don't have to be perfectly round. And whatever pistachios you have left at the end, don't waste them, don't throw them out. Use them on salads or in, some kind of bowl or in your oatmeal. Because I've had this happen where, I had a bunch left after I got done. These, the ones that coat the outside. And I just used them for a few days on my breakfast, sweet breakfast. Okay. So I got to get ready for tomorrow morning and the breakfast demo. And then tomorrow afternoon, I think I'm not doing another one. I'm not sure. I can't remember what I wrote down. I'm going to make, tomato soup sometime in the afternoon, maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I'll see what happens. I find that most foods taste better the next day. Yeah, that's true, Diana, especially soups and chilies and that kind of thing. They tend to taste a lot better the next day. And even after they've been in the freezer for a while, they tend to taste really good. I'm kind of thinking I might like a bowl of my chili tonight. Just a cup, not a big serving. That sounds good. Is that a tablespoon? Yes, it is a tablespoon, Terry. It's just a tablespoon measuring spoon. That's about the right size. And then I'm just rolling them so they look like a nice, neat ball. And I've got my chopped pistachios in just this little 2-cup container so that it's easy. My first time at the NHA conference, I didn't really know anyone. The following year was more fun, though. Through Facebook, I got to know people in our plant-based world. That's good. Nene says, just bought 2 of your ebooks, a holiday book. Oh my goodness, thank you. Yeah, I really had a lot of fun putting that together. You'll get a lot of good recipes from that. When the holidays come around, Thanksgiving and all that, Christmas, whatever you celebrate, that's when it gets really difficult sometimes because you're thinking of, all the stuff that you used to have. And a lot of that is associated with happy feelings. Like when I grew up, my father would make that, his his all his favorites. He would make gravy and whatever, turkey with stuffing and all that stuff. And that was a real happy memory for me, not just because of the food, but because my father, that was the only time he ever really got in the kitchen and cooked, and I would help him. I would he would have me do certain things like stir the celery and onions in the skillet and stuff. So I looked forward to the holidays because my father was in the kitchen cooking with us. So then, all those things that we ate, then I remembered very fondly because they were associated not just with the food, but with my parents. So then trying to just eat, lentil loaf for the holidays was kind of depressing. My husband tried to get me to remain in the restaurant business as the chef, but one bad year turned me against it. Oh, yeah, Diana, we had some bad years with 2020. Was that your bad year? Okay, I got your name. Oh, she's talking to somebody on there. Okay, I'm scraping the last of it out of here. This last one might be a little bigger. I might have to cut it in two because I don't want to waste any of this. You saw how little you get for your expensive pistachios. But like I said, I don't make this often, and when I do, I really love it and appreciate how good it is because it's not something I make all the time. I bought zucchini today to make the zucchini soup. It looks so good in the video. It was really good. And I heard from the author of that book. I can't remember her name now, but I had sent her a message and asked her if it was okay if I made her soups. Because, some people don't want you to make their stuff, I guess. And, it was in the mid 1980s. Yeah. So anyway, she said, yes, no problem. And her book is called Plentiful Fare with Italian Flair. Donna Sanders, I think is her name. And she said, oh, I'm so honored that you made my recipe. So I sent her a picture of it and said it was really good and thank you. And she watched the video and she liked it. So I was happy to hear that. Okay, one more. So it's going to make 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. 14 Pistachio Energy Balls. So yeah, the tomato soup is going to be good. Is your sourdough bread in the bundle? No, I have not taught that one yet. And I'm going to. That one is a big lifetime project, kind of. It's turned out to be because making sourdough bread is not easy to make it turn out well. And especially when you're using mostly whole wheat flour. Okay, so and remember, save your leftover pistachios and use them for your cereal or your oatmeal or your salads or something. Don't throw them away because they're too delicious to waste. They taste good on pretty much everything. My hands are so sticky. So the tomato soup will really be good. I think you'll enjoy it. We'll make that tomorrow afternoon sometime. It's never going to taste like La Madeleine, the French restaurant, or the kind that you might have had in a restaurant with cream and butter. We can't mimic that richness, but we can make it taste good. But just don't think you're going to get the, Panera Bread's tomato soup because their tomato soup is full of butter and cream. I purchased the bundle and I'm so excited. Total life changer. Great. I am going to be doing the sourdough bread class. Here's the bundle link in case you haven't gotten it. What I'm going to do for the sourdough bread is I'm having someone come and film me making it. So she's going to do a video of me making the bread. It's a 6-hour process. And then you put it in the refrigerator to ferment overnight and bake it the next day. And I'll have my husband filmed me getting the bread baked the next day. And so then I'm going to edit that video, and the class is going to be a video you can buy, the recipes, and then I'm going to have a live portion where you can log into Zoom, and then I'll talk to you about how to cut the bread, how to serve it, how to make toppings for it, and what to do to preserve it, to save it, to keep it, everything like that. So it's going to be like a 3-stage class. I love browsing your Amazon store. Hey, thank you, Bernadette. If you want to know anything that I make, look in my Amazon store. Yeah, she does have Donna Sanders has a vodka sauce in her recipe packet. And then Lydia says, my son has a restaurant and they make sourdough pizza. Yeah, I do have I took a class, a sourdough pizza class. Okay, so I want to show you a close up of the Pistachio Energy Balls so you can see them and see how they're supposed to look up close and personal. So they're kind of green. It's hard to see how beautiful they are in this lighting, but if you could see them, you would see how green they are. They look really kind of cool. And I could taste one for you. It tastes just like it's supposed to. Really good. And they're not very big, but they're super filling because they're very concentrated. It's all ground up pistachios, dates, coconut, oatmeal, and it's all kind of all in this one little ball. So, one ball is all you need. You don't need to eat three or four of them at a time. One will be plenty. Your sourdough class will be awesome. I really enjoyed the barbecue class you had. Thank you. I, I'm trying to make my sourdough bread class really high quality because um, I want people to be successful at making it. And I'm even going to go over how to create your own starter. And that part is really hard. A lot of people struggle with even getting a starter. So we're going to go over that too. Well, can we get on your email list for the sourdough class? Yes, anybody can be on my mailing list. Just go to my website, chef-julia.com, and a little pop-up box will come up that says sign up for my mailing list. And if you follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, if you're in my support group, so be sure, the Chef Julia support group, everybody can, request to join that. Be sure and write your reason for joining. Some people try to join, but they don't say why, and it gets kicked back. And I always post anything I'm up to on social media. I tried to make my own starter, epic failure. To get your starter, one really good thing to do is find somebody in your community that has really good sourdough bread, like a sourdough bread baker, somebody at a farmer's market, or like I got mine from the guy that taught the class. So you can always come to Texas and take his class, which is how I learned, and he'll give you starter, and then you can take it home. And maybe one day I might even have a class and give you my starter, but that's kind of complicated. So probably I had the sourdough bread guy that I learned from come here to my house and teach a class, and it was really cool. He brought all his team of people, and everybody was spread out all over my house, and there were like 20 something people here. It was great. I learned a lot. Barbara said, I just joined your support group. Great. So join my support group. Green for St. Patrick's Day. Yes, these are green, and especially in the better lighting than what I have. They don't look that green in here, but they really are green. Excuse me. So that's an exciting thing. The sourdough bread class is going to be fun. And I want people to understand that it's really an art. It's not a recipe. Because some people will see my bread on a post somewhere and they'll go, "Oh, what's your recipe for sourdough bread?" And I'm thinking, my recipe came from you. If you saw my mess over there, I have like a stack of bread books, not cookbooks. They're like how to make bread, the right temperature, and then I have all this equipment that I kind of tried different kinds of things to see how to get everything at the right temperature. And so it's been kind of a big project. How many recipes do you have in the collaboration ebook? In the collaboration ebook, I have two recipes. I have the modern japchae salad that we made today, the Korean noodles, and then I have the sweet potato muffins. Those are my two recipes. And then all the other recipes in there, we all had to use the same ingredients. We had to have, for the sweet one, we had to have sweet potatoes, fruit, and oats. and for the and for the savory one, we had to have kale, sweet potatoes, and green peppers, bell peppers. Okay, thank me by hitting the thumbs up. Okay, yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah, I appreciate everybody. It's been fun for me doing these videos, and I'm not done yet. I have 3 scheduled for tomorrow, and then Monday I have sushi in the morning, Asian salad with edamame in the afternoon sometime, and then at 8 o'clock I'm going to do a kind of a marathon. I'm going to start it at 8 o'clock at night, and I'm going to go as long as I can because the bundle will end eventually at midnight Pacific time. I'm not going to stay up that late, but I'll do a little time in the evening as long as my voice holds up. It's kind of getting a little hoarse. I noticed that Tammy Kramer was saying on one of her videos, she said, I've been talking so much the past week, I'm losing my voice. And I thought, yep, me too. Okay, Sarah Vegan Kitchen has a sourdough bread on her channel. I think she has oil in it. Yeah, there's a lot of people making sourdough bread, and some people put oil in it, some people put honey in it. It's only supposed to have flour and salt and water. That's it. But the thing is, almost all the sourdough people that you see making bread, they are using white flour. They're not using whole grain flour, and their bread is very white. So when you take whole wheat flour and blend whole wheat flour with some sifted whole wheat flour, then it's really hard to make it turn out as good as what you're used to, because people want that real white sourdough bread. They're not real crazy about 100% whole wheat bread in sourdough. It doesn't taste as good to most people. It's okay to me, but my husband, even when I make it 100%, he's like, I don't really like this. If I make it 70% whole wheat and 30% bread flour, he loves it. So I started doing that. I started making my best bread was not 100% whole wheat, but it has organic, you know, um, locally milled bread flour. So it's not like store-bought, cheap, no label white flour that's been refined. So anyway, I will tell you all this stuff when I get ready to do my bread class. So any other questions about pistachio energy balls? And I'm not even going to eat this now, because if I eat this now, I won't be hungry for my chili. So these things are very filling. And one thing I would do with them is I'm trying to get the pistachios to stick better, is I would put one in a Ziploc bag, or wrap it up in something and stick it in my purse and take it with me somewhere. There's an herbal tea called Throat Coat that really soothes. Large choirs recommend it for their singers. That might help your throat. Throat Coat. Okay, I'll look it up. Because if you use your voice all the time, it starts kind of wearing out. Throat Coat. I will try it. And that's why I have my tea. It's not hot. It's kind of lukewarm by now, but I'm trying to drink stuff while I'm doing this so my mouth is not, dry. But it's not that bad. Okay, so any last questions before I shut down for the night? This has been a great class. Gail says thank you. One last time for the bundle. I appreciate the people who have purchased it. It's going really well for me, and I really am happy with that. It inspires me and makes me feel like this has all been a really good thing to do. The bundle is, I'm not just trying to get people to buy something that's not worth anything. It really is a good value. There's some very, very helpful educational videos and courses in there that I think will really help people. So that's the reason I'm very happy to be a part of it. It's high quality. It's not full of fluffy stuff that nobody wants just to kind of have filler. It's really good quality. And I made these two things, these two ebooks, with the bundle in mind. I wasn't really, I didn't want to have any more ebooks particularly, but I thought, okay, I'm going to write something that will be helpful to people. And so I did the 7-day meal plan. And then the cookies was just kind of I taught a cookie class and everybody liked it. So I added more cookies and I thought this would be a good addition to the bundle for the people that don't take my classes. So are you chilling the balls in the refrigerator? Yes, the refrigerator. So I'm going to get these in the refrigerator and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Probably it's going to be 10:30 Central Time. So see you all in the morning. Oh, the time change. Yes, it'll still be 10:30, but we're in Texas. It's time to spring forward. So we'll be springing forward tonight. So we'll lose an hour of sleep, right? But it will be, I'll keep up with that. So everybody make the pistachio energy balls and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye bye.